All right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
Welcome to another episode of the Brand X Podcast. I'm John. With me, as usual, my co-host Deuce.
Como esta, bitches?
And you know what? Joe is back. I got a lot of good feedback from you, Joe.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Everybody loved it when your mother beat the shit out of you.
Oh, everybody loves it when mom beats the shit out of me. I got a million mom beats the shit out of me stories.
Nothing makes people laugh than the child abuse in the early 60s. Late 60s, early 70s, I should say.
Up to the late 70s.
Good beating never hurt anybody. That's what Genghis used to say.
Right. Yeah, now you can't even like yell at a kid.
Yeah.
They got to
call
run
DYFUS on you.
Yeah, they run to their safe space.
Well, not only that, you yell at a kid, he starts shivering and pissing himself, and you have to haul him off and take him to a special room and give him some Play-Doh.
Well, listen, an adult coloring book.
Yeah.
We have
an adult coloring book.
An adult coloring. Well, they have adult coloring books out. You didn't know that?
Yeah, but we're thinking of like the X-rated and adult.
Oh, I got you.
We never got coloring books like that.
Yeah.
What kind of coloring books did you get as a kid?
I hadn't even looked at an adult coloring book, so I don't even know what they really look like. But they have them out. I know that.
My brother,
you know what they probably are? You see people post them on Facebook. They're just geometric designs. Like they look like stained glass windows.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That must be what it is.
Yeah, I think that's
it's not like ponies and streams and rainbows.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't.
Again, I haven't looked, but whatever. I mean, if you still want to color, what can I tell you?
Yeah, my brother and I have taken coloring books and turned them into adult themed coloring books.
Now you've intrigued me. Go ahead.
Yeah, we used to take.
Well, there was the raunchy adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And then we got a Batman coloring book one time. And
well, you guys are really good artists. In other words, you can really draw characters. And over that Winnie the Pooh coloring book, I got the shit beat out of me by my mom.
Because there was a caption that said, Piglet races ahead. And Joe drew this little cock and balls on feet, like racing Piglet. Like just beating them, and my mother saw that and beat the shit out of Joe.
I got the shit beat out of me for that one too.
So anyhow, since I get in trouble now because I go on social media. We have a whole list of all kinds of stories here, but we're going to clear the deck because I don't know what to do. Again, I start to feel attacked, but instead of running for my safe space, I grew up in the late 60s, early 70s. I want to hug it out. I want to debate. But you can't do that anymore because what they do is they block you.
It's getting to the point now you might have to block yourself from social media.
I might have to block.
Every time I turn around, you're getting in trouble.
It was just 3 weeks ago I got in trouble. Same broad.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to name any names, but 2 weeks ago, episode 36 was the boobs. And
boobs and bugs on the brain
Boobs
episode.
And bugs on the brain. And it was where someone had taken a picture of herself in a T-shirt and a flyer shirt. And a guy had made a comment about her because of her breastises.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So she made it was Monday morning. I get a cup of coffee and I'm looking, I see that and I go, well, I said, I know it's not right. I said, but when guys see boobs, they do stupid things. Like, and she's like, I'm justifying it. I said, I'm not justifying it. I'm saying
fact.
It's a fact. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's right. It's just what we do. He shouldn't have said anything to her. He shouldn't have said anything to her.
Now, did he get blocked?
Who knows? I wasn't paying attention.
It's not fair.
First of all, it's all about me. It's all about me.
Right.
So then I think I used the word homage. Like he was just paying tribute.
Homage, I believe, is the word.
Homage.
Yeah.
Homage. It's spelled that way, but it's
okay.
It's pronounced both ways.
All right. So we got into a kind of a thing, and then that became a topic on the podcast. So I should have known. It's Monday morning, right? I go get a cup of coffee. I'm sitting there, and she made a statement about people who didn't go to college.
Uneducated.
Well, if you went to high school, you're educated, right? Aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then women who did go to college. So it was like women that did go to college and men that didn't go to college voted for Trump. And she said something. And I just said, because I was listening to a podcast that I'm a fan of. It's called The Congressional Dish. by Jen Briney, and it gets me all fired up because she goes in there and she reads all the bills and she goes in and she sees all the nonsense that's going on in Washington, and she talks about it in real terms. Very easy to listen to, very cool, very good podcast. So I was listening to that, so I just said, hey, I think it's funny that, I think Trump's there just to keep us distracted while Congress is, somebody will keep an eye on Congress. And she didn't say anything. So then I thought to myself, well, last time I said something like this, I got in trouble. So I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to do this publicly out on the feed. I'll do it privately. I'll send her a message. And I'll just say, I was listening to this podcast. You might like it. I know how you are on Monday mornings. You might be a little testy.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Monday. A little smiley face.
You silver-tongued devil, you.
You know me. I got away with the ladies.
Yeah, on Monday, I know you're a real bitch. So
I didn't say that.
That's how it's going to come across.
Of course.
Yeah, right.
Because what happens is, it was Monday morning, and apparently she didn't have her coffee. And the last time, too, when she was all getting upset, I said, maybe you just ought to eat a Snickers. Mm-hmm. Being a joke. Eat a Snickers, calm down. It's a TV commercial. Again, trying to ease the pressure, trying to calm things down.
Well, that sounds like a thing where she can eat a Snickers. What are you saying? I'm fat?
No. I just told you to eat a Snickers because, you're like Betty White
you're not
in the
yourself.
commercial. You're not yourself.
You're not yourself.
Right.
You're not
hungry.
your fun-loving self.
But they can turn that into, am I fat?
They can turn anything into anything, to be quite honest with you. So I'm just sitting here doing my thing, and the next thing you know, I start getting tweets from somebody else that says, you should stop objectifying women. I'm like, objectifying women? What the hell are you talking about? So I go back to look. Yeah, I know, right? Of course. It's like. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I go on Twitter and I don't see anything on my feed. I don't see anything, nothing. So then I go, well, maybe Steph is saying something about the whole incident. So I go to look at her and I was blocked. Oh. She blocked me.
Nuclear launch detected.
Right. So I'm like, oh, okay, you blocked me. The thing is, I have more Twitter accounts than you can shake a stick at. She follows me on a couple of them. She doesn't know it. So I went over to look to see what what was going on. She went on this whole diatribe about, and again, misrepresented me, took the facts, stretched them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, listen, if you're mad at me, debate me or say something. You know what? If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. Okay. But no, go and playing the victim. Okay. And making me look like I'm some kind of, it's not even how I felt. I mean, she's a podcaster. She has a couple podcasts. She's very good at what she does. I'm not going to stop listening to her just because she's a little cunty. All right. Is this going to get me in more trouble? Fuck her. Well, she already blocked me. Oh, and then what happened was because on my Twitter description, it says host of the Brand X podcast and Off in the Weeds. She went and she'd also blocked the Brand X podcast.
Oh.
She blocked that Twitter feed too.
Well, then you can say what you want about it.
Yeah, I can say what I want. Who cares? No one's going to know. You think somebody's going to go to her and say, oh, by the way?
Well, they might. They just might. You never know.
You know what? Good. So if you're listening to this, you're a little cunty this morning, and you know what? You should have just had a Snickers, calmed down. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was trying to be nice. All right? I think you took it all the wrong way. And now you go and dress me down in front of everybody. I'm sorry.
It's like we need an over-under board on
how long it takes me before.
Yeah, because this is like we've been doing this podcast now for less than a year, and you've been in trouble with social media 4 or 5 times.
Third time. Yeah. This is the third time.
Well, it's the third time we're talking about it, but on the podcast, I think
the third time we're talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah, I think you
always on a Monday.
Yeah, I think you had a couple of other brushes.
Of course, because it's you're in there, you're talking, but again, we've said this before. There's no context. There's no tone of voice.
No inflection.
Yeah, text does not translate well.
Right. So you can read it one way, and then you can read it totally another way. So, Monday mornings, I guess, is not a good time. Stay off the moral of the story. Stay off of social media on Monday morning.
Right.
Everybody's a little testy.
Or lay low like a cat that shit on the rug.
Right. Well, I don't lay low.
No, you cannot lay low.
I don't lay low. I mean, if I was going to lay low, I wouldn't be bringing this up right now.
You can't help yourself.
No, I can't. But I don't think I'm a troll.
No, you're not a troll.
I have troll-like qualities.
You like to break balls.
Which I guess in a way is a troll. But
no, because a troll is kind of like, they pull the pin on the grenade, roll it across the floor, and then they just sit back and watch what's going on.
Like what I did with Bad Cop.
Yeah,
and,
you mix it up. You get in there, and it's like, and again, like you said, it's like you're just going in here, hey, how about this? And then someone gets their panties in a bunch, and then
Right.
You know, that's
I did, like I said, I have troll-like qualities because I did that with Bad Cop, and the Unwritable Rant.
David, the producer.
Well, yeah, because what happened was
Look at you trying to.
Jerry and Dave had said something. You know, this is a while back. Everybody's friends now. Everybody's friendly now. But I did take the spot of where he was talking about her, and I have a thing on an app on my phone that I can take the exact spot where they're talking about it, and I sent it to her. So, and I didn't really know Dave and Jerry back then. So, yeah, I did try to. I did stir up a little podcasting shit back then.
You are a mental case.
Yeah, I am a mental case. Okay, so I don't know. I don't seem to get in much trouble. It's the Twitter. The Twitter's where I get in trouble.
Oh, really?
Although I did get in trouble on Facebook with
I was going to say that's the first
one I got
about.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Oh, what was that about? Okay, sorry.
That's another epic. That's another.
I'll have to give you. I'll put.
Just listen to the podcast episode.
Okay,
it's easier.
Right, yeah. I've been in trouble a couple of times on Facebook, mostly over politics. But
it's always
now, you can't say anything anymore where somebody.
Right. Well, the thing is, if you upset somebody or you hurt their feelings or whatever, the first thing they do is they play the victim, and then that makes you the big bad wolf.
Right.
And instead of just debating them and getting some thicker skin and not letting everything trigger you, you know what? There's some words I would just love to get rid of. Trigger is one. I would love to get rid of trigger.
Right, trigger warning.
Yeah.
I would love to get rid of the word lit.
I don't know what it means.
Lit means.
Well, to me, it means getting drunk.
Yeah,
that guy's pretty lit. You know.
Well, yeah, you know
that's what it used to mean.
We'll have to bring up the
back in the day, the urban slang.
Urban dictionary.
I don't do urban.
Well, the problem is we're middle-aged white guys. That's the problem. And we grew up where you could break balls, you could say things, you could tease somebody,
right?
And it wasn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. And if it was a big deal, you hugged it out, and then it was over, and that was it. It was like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Hockey game rule.
What's a hockey game rule?
When two guys start slugging it out, and everybody backs off for about 30 seconds till one guy starts coming out on top, then you break it up.
Oh, there you go.
And usually it's over after that.
Right. Yeah, hockey rules. There we go.
It works.
Right.
So you got to get in a fight.
Listen, I'm not here to fight. I'm here to just to interact with some people.
Yeah.
Try to be funny. Most of the time I'm trying to be. I'm not mean. I wouldn't say anything mean. Funny, yes. Mean, no.
Yeah.
Unless you provoke me.
Well, it's just if someone doesn't have a sense of humor, that's generally
if you come after me, then I'm going to fight back. I'll never start a fight, but I won't walk away from one either. That's
didn't you and the Bishop pull a bar stool underneath Joe once when you first?
Yeah, I did do that.
No, that would start a fight.
Well, I thought it was John did it, but I thought it was a Bishop, and I was ready to put the bar stool across his head.
He was going to beat the shit out of the Bishop.
Well, you know what pissed me off about that? The guy, Bishop. I fell on the girl behind me.
No, it was the waitress.
No, it was a girl. No, it was a girl behind me. She had it.
Knocked her.
Here's the story. I got a semi-eidetic memory. So she had a really nice, shapely backside. And
we were talking about it.
We were talking about it.
Right.
Well, I went to turn around and look at her, and John pulled the chair.
It was perfect. Your head was right there.
And I
pulled the chair, and his face went right into her head.
Yeah, I fell into her, and my face went in her. And then I thought it was a Bishop, so I get the hell up. I was like, I wanted to kill the guy. Well, that's not really what really got me. What got me was one of the douchebags that the woman was with, one of the guys said, "Hey, it was her you fell on, buddy." He gets all,
Sir Lancelot.
Right. And now everybody's looking at me. I'm looking like a drunk or something. I'm just like, so I apologized to her because, and I really, I felt like saying, "This jerk off here."
It was me.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was you.
Right. I was probably like 4 or 5 Jack Daniels in.
So I apologized to her. Not good enough for this guy. "Hey, man, you got to watch what you're doing with it." Now I wanted to kill this friggin' guy. You say, shut the fuck up, because I have apology rules. Okay.
Right.
I have make 2 apologies. 1, to amend the offense. 2, just in case you didn't hear me the 3rd time.
Second.
If you're going to force me to apologize the 3rd time, then I retract apologies, and you know what, motherfucker, you deserved it.
Okay.
Then we take it from there.
It sounds reasonable.
Yeah, it is reasonable.
Right. I get you. I like that idea too.
So do you think you're going to be able to amend fences on social media with this?
No, because it's just they don't care. She could give 2 shits, about any of this. And I guess the fact that I'm just talking about it means it affected me more than it even did then. But I'm just saying I don't like being misrepresented. That's all. That's my biggest thing. I don't like being misrepresented, and that's the end of that. It's been a rough weekend. We'll get right back to the show in just a second, but you know what is social? The Podern Family. The Podern Family is a bunch of independent podcasters that kind of band together to promote each other's show, to help each other out, and to take their podcasts up to a new level. And if you want to find other podcasts like our podcast, what you can do is just go to Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram and search the hashtag Podern Family, all one word. And you'll find podcasts like Now That I'm Older, 3 is Comedy, Bad Cop, The Unwritable Rant, Netflix and Swill, The Story Behind, Everyone Has a Podcast, The Epic Film Guys, and way more than I have time to talk about here. So, if you want to find more great podcasts, just search the hashtag Podern Family on your social media of choice. All right, back to the show. So I got to tell you a story about a man named Jed. No, yeah. It was Friday night. You know how it's for February, it was gorgeous here, Friday into Saturday. It was just so nice out. And Friday night, so I couldn't come in the house. And I went and got a cup of coffee. I'm out in the redneck lawn chair, and I'm listening to the radio and listening to podcasts. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. So I get up, and I'm like, okay, it's time to go in the house. So I open the truck door. Well, I park right near the back door. So it's like maybe a step to the steps. It's not even that. All of a sudden, I turn around. I see something out of the corner of my eye. I turn around. It's a skunk. A skunk walks walks over, like walks around a trash can, and we lock eyes. And all of a sudden, it was, and I jumped about 3 steps up onto the first platform.
Sprang into action.
Oh yeah, because you know me, I got bad knees. I don't really move. Listen, that's probably the fastest I've moved in a long, long time. I mean, I think I scaled it. I think it was like 1, 2, and I was up on top of that platform.
Were you hurting afterwards?
You know what? Your adrenaline takes over.
Yeah.
It's that fight.
No, I know that, like that, but I mean, like half an hour later, was like your knees killing you, or
not anymore? Not any
more than usual.
Not any more than normal. So I go running in the house, and I'm thinking to myself, now what do I do here? Now the skunk is always, because the trash is there. The trash is always going to be there,
right? And
now the skunk's going to be going to be around. So what do I do? Am I going to have to trap this thing, and we're going to have it out? We got to hug it out, me and the skunk.
You got to relocate the. Well, we were talking. It's skunk humping season is what it is. They're all out getting laid right now. That's why they're dead all over the road out here.
And then here's the other thing. One of them, either the male or the female, once they get laid, the first thing they do is they run out in the middle of the street and try to get hit by a car.
Right.
Because they're dead. There's dead skunks all over the place.
It's probably the guy.
And there was one.
Tell my friends.
The skunk gets laid. Peppy Little Pew gets laid. He goes running out. Hey,
everybody.
I just get laid.
Showing pictures. Hey, look.
I just got laid. Because that's how French people talk.
That's right. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Now, it's a second.
Maybe you have to relocate your trash cans further away from the house.
Now, you know what you do?
So you don't stumble across that again.
I was periodically visited from a skunk when I lived in Lindenwold. And what I had to do, somebody told me this, just pour ammonia all over your plastic trash cans.
Yes.
It'll stay there for a couple weeks, but they don't like that.
Okay.
And they kind of go away. Give it a shot. I mean, it worked for me.
Okay. I'll do that.
And if you need to, mix it with bleach and you'll have mustard gas. Yeah. And then when you see dead skunks lying all over the place, then you're good.
John will be dead sitting there.
Be the big story on Action News. Yeah. Jim Gardner with his incredibly wrinkled
man dies of a terrorist attack, a chemical terrorist attack.
I better rephrase that. Don't just pour ammonia on it. Treat the trash cans with ammonia. Because if I say pour, then the EPA might be showing up. We heard you're pouring ammonia.
Yeah.
Isn't that biodegradable? I guess not.
I don't know.
It's not pneumonia, it's ammonia.
Ammonia, yeah. Pour the pneumonia on it and kill the skunks that way.
That's
He'll
right.
be wheezing and congested.
Maybe I should just pour the pneumonia right on the skunk.
Yeah.
How do you like it, you bastard?
We're sitting there. He's got his spray, and I got my pneumonia, and I'm...
Yeah, but they are everywhere now. I drive to work and I must see about 30 of them every morning. Like they're like wandering. If they're not dead on the road, they're lurching into the road because they just got laid. So.
I'm telling you, I really almost, and I'm not even lying, I almost shit my pants when I saw that skunk.
Yeah.
It was like...
Yeah, because There's a mountain lion. I'd be like, oh, cool, a mountain lion.
Cougar.
And it was one of those things where I locked the truck, I shut the door. So I was like, I don't have time to put the key
drive
in the door.
away.
I can't put the key in the door, open the door, jump back in the truck. There was only one way to go. It was up the steps.
You're like stuck.
Yeah, screamed like a little girl.
Yeah. Jump in the car and get away.
But I had the window down. You would think that I would have smelled the skunk.
Well, they only do that when they attack.
You know what? Here's the problem. No, I would have smelled the skunk, except you're right. There was one that was maybe about 100 yards on the road that I live on that was hit.
Right.
And I thought that smell was, just from the dead one.
Mm-hmm. Polluting the air.
Polluting the air.
Yeah, sometimes those bastards stink like really bad.
They're like radioactive. You ever drive for like 3 miles and you're still smelling the damn thing? It's like it's like a zone, It's like, whoa.
It's like if you walk by somebody with your mouth open and they farted. It's like, it's almost, it leaves a film.
Yeah, because
it's horrible.
People routinely walk around with their mouth open.
Well, if you're a Buchanan's, you do. Buchanan's we always walk around with our mouth open.
Dry your teeth out? I mean, nothing's moist.
Right. The other thing I was doing this weekend was, I don't know if you guys saw this on Facebook, they have a giraffe that's about ready to give birth.
Giraffe?
A giraffe.
A giraffe.
If that's just a giraffe, you dropped
a giraffe.
It's not like a rift.
I know. A giraffe.
There you go. They
have the live camera on it, and it says, getting ready to give birth any minute now. And it's within, any hour now. It's ready to. That was Thursday?
Yeah, that story's been tracking for a while.
It's still the giraffe is still there and still hasn't given birth yet. I'm thinking to myself,
what zoo is that in? San Diego Zoo, is it? Or?
I'm not even sure because there's so many people that have picked up on it. So many live feeds have picked up on it. You can be watching it from the news camera from this television station and the camera from that television station. So you don't really know. But I'm waiting and waiting. I was editing a podcast. I think I was editing last week's podcast, and I had it sit down. I'm like, if this thing drops, I'll be right here to watch it. And 6 hours, and finally I said, that's it. Then people complained to YouTube saying that it was
a breach of their usage
terms of service because it was sexual or whatever. And then YouTube took it down. They took the feed down because of people complaining. I mean, it's just an animal having a baby. It's like watching a dog have puppies or a cat have kittens.
Yeah,
it's like, what's the big deal?
If it's on National Geographic, it's fine.
Right.
Put it on YouTube. And it's just game on.
So the way I look at it is, I just don't understand. It's like they're always worried about the children. Oh, the children. The children might see. Well, how do you think giraffes get here? Big giant stork?
That's one hell of a stork.
That's one hell of a stork to carry a giraffe.
Yeah. Had to be like a condor.
How do you think those giraffes get here?
I don't know what you're going to do. Have you ever seen a giraffe that lives by a stork? No. What's it look like? You don't want to be in the way of that wings, man.
So, another thing that I started to listen to, which is actually pretty interesting. It's a new podcast. It came out, I guess, about a couple weeks ago. It's called Missing Richard Simmons. I don't know if you guys have been following this.
Well, we talked about it. You and I hit upon it. We were talking about he's got latched up with somebody that's living in a house with him, and he's like the
maid or
I don't know. It's like some kind of weird like Svengali kind of a relationship, and he keeps Richard Simmons from interacting with his friends and family, and they're like going to his house and say, "Yo, are you okay?" And like.
Right.
He's putting out like these vague, ambiguous statements like everything's fine.
But again, so the podcast is about this guy who used to go to his workout studio, which was called Slimmins.
How clever.
And it was whatever. It was, I think the class was $14 a class, and it was just a small class in, a small storefront in Beverly Hills. And Richard Simmons would come in there and teach the class every day. And he, the other thing with Richard Simmons was he would find people that were having problems with weight loss and he would call and talk to them and, encourage them. And it was amazing. So anyhow, the podcast starts the way Richard Simmons was and then how he dropped off the face of the earth. And it's the second episode now. And they're trying to find him, trying to get in contact with him. So it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you what, the 2 episodes I've listened to so far makes me want to go back and listen to the third one. So I'd like to see what.
Did it go into his shiny body like we talked about on the podcast?
They haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he's transitioning into a woman.
Well, that was like the rumor.
Right.
Oh,
I heard
really?
that rumor.
Now he's turning into a woman?
Well,
That's what they said.
Really?
who knows?
Well, it was in a tabloid paper. So
He's got to be up there in age because he's been around since I was in high school.
He's in his 60s.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, you know how much money he made from those Sweating to the Oldie tapes?
Oh, he made a fortune.
It was like $500 million into sales. It's, he doesn't probably have to ever.
Then he had
again.
he had 2 different TV shows, I think. I think he was on a network.
He had,
and then he had a cable show.
Well, the tapes, the Sweating to the Oldie tapes. Then he had the deal meal, which he sold a ton of the deal.
I
meals.
forgot about deal meal.
Right.
Yeah.
So the guy never has to work again. And, I guess if he just decided that he's done and he's retired and he doesn't want to deal with anybody, it's
like he went on off the deep end or something. Like he went on a bender.
Yeah. And it's just not him. I'm interested to see how this turns out. I don't think there's an ending to this podcast. Like, it's not like the serial podcasts where, they did 13 episodes and they go, it get you sucked in. Like the first episode of, I don't know if you've heard of Serial. You know what that is?
I know what a serial is, like with the books back in the day.
Well, there's a podcast called Serial, not Serial with a C, but Serial with an S.
Serial.
And it was one of the first podcasts that really put podcasting on the map. Like everybody was listening to it. And it was the story of a guy down in Baltimore. They said he killed his girlfriend and buried her. And now they don't think that he did. And they're trying to get him a new trial and everything. So you figure, again, like any kind of TV show, that there's going to be some kind of end. Like either they found out he was guilty or they found out he wasn't guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So you listen to this thing for 13 weeks and they go, yeah, we don't know. He might be guilty. He might not be. And I'm like, really? Then what the hell did I listen to this for?
Pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah. So then they did Serial 2 with the guy that came out of Afghanistan. He's in jail, Birdall.
Oh, Birdall.
Right.
Yeah.
So they start, I'm like, I don't know, you ain't roping me in again. I shook that tick and got rid of that.
Dropped that like a bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to do.
Which is planning to cast spell against Donald Trump.
They're going to put a hex on him or some shit like that?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, it's supposed to be Friday.
Yeah. Well, don't they understand that anything you do to him only intensifies it? It creates a negative effect. Everything they've ever done to him. It might be the wrong thing to do, is to put a spell on him.
Well, I guess.
Which is screaming Jay Hawkins, I put a spell on you. I love that song.
That is a good song.
Oh, it's awesome. We hear it around Halloween, unfortunately.
During the presidency, now they can't seem to get him out of office, so they want to. All the witches are now getting together, and they're going to cast a spell against him. Now it's supposed to be Friday that they did that,
right?
So we're recording on Monday. So far, no ill effects. He's still on the Twitter in the morning. He's still pooping. He's still tweeting.
He's still orange.
He's still orange. He's still the president. So really hasn't done anything. But they're kind of doubling down. There's a couple of different dates here.
Maybe it hasn't occurred.
I'm always fascinated about of people that believe that stuff. You know, like a witch spell.
Witchcraft. Oh, that was something I got in a big fight over.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I said there was no such thing as ghosts. And boy, did I get my head bit off for that.
By who?
Someone that believed in ghosts, clearly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough to know enough. You don't think there's a ghost? You don't think there's a spirit? You don't think there's anything like that?
I've never seen one.
No. I go by with what I see.
And I drink a lot.
I smoked a lot of pot when I was younger, and I never saw a ghost.
When I was growing up, we bought a house, an old house that was built in 1856. And, of course, my father, he buys this piece of shit. And
did he name it the Big Pig, like your boat?
I should have named it the Big Pig. It had 9 bedrooms.
Wow.
1 bathroom.
Was it a mansion?
It was huge. It's 3 stories.
Jesus.
It was huge. It wasn't a straight board in the house. I mean, it was old wood floors, creaky wood floors, plaster and lath, on the walls and everything. Back in this area was all agriculture back then. So it was like a farmhouse.
Big-ass farmhouse.
It was a big-ass farmhouse. So me and my father were in there. It's a Friday night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning because my father doesn't believe in, you work until you drop. So we're in the house, and there's just me and him. There's no one else is in the house. We haven't even moved in yet. We're getting things ready to move in. And we heard somebody walking upstairs. And I'm telling you, I was there. And I can hear it now like I heard it when I was 7 years old. And you could hear steps. And he says, stay here, and if I yell, run. That's what he says.
How old are you?
7.
Okay.
7 years old. So he goes upstairs, and he walks around the whole house, comes back down. He goes, I don't know what that was. He goes, but I heard it. And then we also had a room up in the upstairs room, up in the 3rd floor. Could not keep the door locked. Couldn't keep it shut. And it was it was like an old door. It was solid. You'd push it. You'd have to push it and push it to shut. And nobody would go up there. And all of a sudden you go up there and the door would be open. And there was no windows open where it couldn't blow open. I mean, maybe the house could have shifted it and then it opened.
Maybe a truck rolling by, heavy
truck rolling by or something. I don't know. But we couldn't keep the door shut.
That is always a scientific explanation. I would like to see a ghost.
I would like to.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. As long as it's not like one of those like Exorcist kind of a deal.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I want a friend. I want Casper, a friendly ghost.
Yeah, but he's...
I like the one like on Ghostbusters that hovers over your bed and starts undoing your pants and all that, and you know.
Now, my luck, I'd get the bitch in the library at the beginning of Ghostbusters. That's the lottery I would hit. So
exactly, or me, I'd get Stay Puft Marshmallow Guy. So they gave you a bunch of crap about ghosts?
Yeah. Well, what happened was a friend of mine. She would watch Ghost Hunters, the series. Now, I don't know about you. Every time I see this show, all it is. What was that? What was that? You know, they'll say, or they'll video something of like I don't know, like a snowflake blowing across, and they say, what was that? Was it? Do you see that? And they'll circle it, like, you know. So I think it's a bunch of horseshit. If I was there, I'd be like, ha, you guys are all fucked up. But the one girl said she posted.
What the hell is this?
This is the Sunday Mystery Movie soundtrack.
I was going to say, it's definitely not Bonanza.
She posted, as her post, she goes, this season's Ghost Hunters is really lame. I said, and so then I just being a smartass, I posted, I suppose it hasn't occurred to you, it's because ghosts don't exist.
Don't exist?
Well, one of her friends, who I don't even know, and this guy, he
so you got in trouble on social media.
This guy comments, "Don't make me kick your dumb ass."
Oh, now we got a problem.
And you know how well I respond to that kind of. Yeah, and he's a young guy, and he's very overcompensating. So I'm like, so I'll tell you. So are you like talking to me? No, I'm thinking,
you talking to me?
Yeah, are you talking to me?
Taxi driver.
So then, like, I'm commenting back and forth to this girl, my friend, and she's like, and then he keeps jumping in. I'm like, yo, boss, what, you got a problem? I said, I'm just commenting, so I'm not even talking to you. He says, don't make me beat the hell out of you. Now I got to get smart. I said, and how are you going to do that? You're going to type in capital letters until I cry? I mean, really? How are you going to? You're type really hard. So, now he's like, I said, look. So I said to you, I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll make it easy for you. Here's what, on any given Friday night, here's where I go. I tell them my regular watering hole, and just show up and give me a bunch of shit and watch what that gives you. Watch what that gets you. And that was the end of it. I never heard,
Never heard from him again?
But all over goddamn, because I said there's no ghosts.
Ghosts.
What do you know? You say there's no scientific. I said, shut up.
They call them like keyboard terrorists.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors.
Get their beer muscles on.
Right.
Behind a keyboard.
But, so anyhow, I guess every month you have to do this. You have to back this up every month for 4 months because...
Oh, or don't take.
Yeah, because they're also supposed to do this on March 26th. Oh, it's my dad's birthday. April 24th and May 23rd and beyond. Unless, of course, Trump is cast out of the office before then. Michael Hughes, who writes about the paranormal, posted the spell in the extra news feed last week. He stresses that a binding spell is different than a curse or a hex. Well, I'm like, of course, everybody knows a binding spell is different than a curse or a hex. It's a restraint, not harm. I see it as self-defense. So that's what they're doing. They're putting this self-defense us against Trump. So you ready for it? Here it is.
This is the incantation.
Right. Hear me, O spirits of water, earth, fire, and air, heavenly hosts, demons of infernal realms, and spirits of the ancestors. I call upon you to bind Donald J. Trump so that he may fail utterly, that he may do no harm to any human soul, nor any tree, animal, rock, stream, or sea.
Now, see, if I was on social media, I'd get in a fight now because I just laughed at that.
Yeah, right.
Someone would actually laugh at an incantation.
See, I'm going to get you sucked into this. I'm going to have somebody yelling at you on. Next, practitioners are supposed to burn the photo with an orange candle, chanting, "So mote it be, so mote it be."
So you got to go to the orange candle shop.
Right. But if that sound is too witchy, Hugh says, a simple "you're fired" will also Come on.
Yeah.
Your fire will also work. The spell is completed by burying the candle stub or carrot or disregarding it in running water. Discarding it.
Sounds like a lot of damn work.
Yeah, it does.
Can't you just call your congressman to object to anything that he might be proposing?
Do you understand now why we burned witches?
That's true. There's not a whole bunch of them around. But then how can you tell they're a witch or not?
Well, actually, in America, they were hanged. Except for one poor bastard, they pressed him between two rocks, Oh, yeah, he was pressed.
Yeah, most of them were hanged.
Any witches that were burned were in Europe, and in Salem, they were all hanged.
Most
or actually, they were all hung is the actual...
hung.
Oh,
yeah.
He was hung.
He was really hung.
You know, Trude?
Trude?
You're losing your goddamn mind.
What? That's what they said. He was hung.
Go do something outside.
Go to your brother's.
These guys are having flashbacks over here. Childhood flashbacks. All right. Next story. More paint, less hate. Online petition calls to end black targets at shooting ranges.
Oh, I saw this. This is ridiculous.
Okay. So everybody knows that they have targets are black. Because
black silhouette.
They're a black silhouette. Because when you're shooting at something, if there's low light, it looks like a black silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
NewChange.org petition calls for the end of human black targets at shooting ranges, citing that disproportionate number of black individuals who are shot by trained shooters than white people. Now, is that true? Is there anything to back that up?
No. In fact, when the whole violence thing against police officers started, statistically, they shoot more white people than black people. But I don't have all the stats off at my fingertips right now, but basically it's all not true. Not only that, the black silhouette, they don't use it with just human figures. They also do it in bowling pins, targets, like the
round circle.
Yeah,
targets.
The round to concentric circles one.
Right.
Yeah,
if it's going to be a deer or
I mean, if you're going to throw it out, what are you supposed to use? You have to use a dark and light color. So you use the alternating concentric rings,
Right. Or so what you do is you make the outside of the target black and the inside of the target white. Does that make it better?
I don't know.
Should we make it orange?
Yeah. Generally, there's so many different. Also, if you were to shoot a rifle using a thermal,
right,
which I have, that target is going to show up black because it's radiating more heat. Okay, because the background heat is going to be lower than 98.6, which is human, unless it's 100 degrees out that day,
right.
In which case it would show up opposite. But how often does it get to be 100 degrees? But you can adjust that using the thermal. Mm-hmm. You can reverse it. You can contrast it. So this is just a solution looking for a problem is what this is.
Well, what color do you make it? You can't make them pink because then the LGBT will be coming in.
Somebody
you can't make them yellow
something.
Because then the Asians, and you can't, any color you make them.
The other thing is, too, the reason they're black, things cost money. It is far cheaper just to spray black paint on a piece of paper than to use colored ink. That's basically one of the biggest.
So you're saying black ink is cheaper than regular ink?
Well, then a colored ink, sure. I mean, do you buy targets?
I haven't in a long time. I haven't shot a gun in a while.
Well, if you go and you buy targets, I mean, it's like anything else. Whatever you want to pay for it, it's from soup to nuts.
Right.
The cheapest, least expensive targets are white paper with black ink, and that's it.
That's it.
When you buy printer cartridges, which one's cheaper?
Black ink.
Black ink.
There you go.
There you go. It says young black men are 3 times more likely to be shot by trained shooters than their white peers, noting a disturbing potential correlation that the most popular target for shooters to learn to use their firearms is a black silhouette. So what these geniuses are saying is because the target
you're being conditioned to
conditioned to shoot at
shoot at black people.
Yeah. Well, if that were true, then why aren't because they're not really, African Americans aren't really black.
Right.
Yeah, they're all different shades of, brown to darker brown. So
hey, I know
if all the targets were like that color, then they might have a legitimate gripe. But this is just just someone trying to be. I'll bet you this is something behind a fundraising drive of some type or some kind of group that needs to raise money, and they put stories like this out just to get their name in the press. This isn't going to go anywhere. It's a go nowhere story.
Well, nevertheless, Change.org petition is intent to get rid of the black silhouette targets at shooting ranges. The group behind the petition, No More Black Targets, which describes itself as an advocacy campaign to raise the awareness of the dangers of unconscious bias and how it may be perpetrated
or perpetuated.
How it may be causing gun violence against young black males.
Say that one more time.
Oh, I can't. That one won't come out. Showcases of
now they want to ban these on shooting ranges. All right. Now I've belonged to 3 shooting clubs.
Mm-hmm.
They're all private clubs.
Right.
They can't tell a club what they can and cannot have.
Well, they got a variety of artwork on their websites and to encourage supporters to create their own colorful expressions to potentially replace the black silhouettes.
Okay, and here's what I say.
Go ahead.
Go in, start printing them babies up
Right.
and see how much they cost.
Let the market decide.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch how much it costs to print them things up and see if buyers are going to, see how fast they go
That's
right back.
the invisible hand of the free market at play, because if they want that, go ahead and put it out there. But you can't just arbitrarily demand something be banned because you don't like it, especially on a flawed argument that they're using. That's just like stupid talk.
I got to tell you, I'm really getting annoyed how all of a sudden we're the demons. The white males, the middle-aged white males are now the demons because Trump's president. They sign an executive order. The reason that the executive order is upsetting to everybody is because there's all white males in the picture.
Have you seen the upper staff picture for the Huffington Post?
No.
It's all women.
It's all women, all white women.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
How come there's no men in there?
That was asked during the election. That picture got floated around because they were saying, oh, yeah, there's no diversity. And then they had the editorial staff of the Huffing and Puffington Post, and it was all, all women.
It's all white women.
Were they all white?
Yeah. I didn't see
Where are all the white women at?
I thought they were all
There's
just
the
women.
Huffington
I didn't
Post.
really know that.
Well, they were all women, yeah, but they were, I think
I was just
clipping.
like annoyed. So.
Yeah, but one of them, they were all white from the picture I saw. I don't know. They call themselves victims anyway, so they include themselves.
But that's like I said, that's just stupid. That's just a problem looking for a solution is all
I say black targets matter. That's what I say. And why should we do away with perfectly good black targets?
Yeah, there's they're not going to stop making them.
Hey, look at this.
And if this story gained any traction, people like me that are just spiteful,
we'll go out and buy.
I'll just buy more of them. It's just like, well, they don't want me to have these, so I'm going to buy. When they banned all the light bulbs years ago, I hoarded up light bulbs.
Oh, you didn't go with the...
No, I still have a shitload of light bulbs. And then they wound up doing away with that anyway because they realized this is stupid, And
we could put our own spin to this whole Target thing.
Go ahead.
Making the argument that, hey, the black targets are ones getting all the work.
There you go. Why do we want to put black targets out of work?
Right.
Jeez, we're going to get in trouble for that.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get in trouble for that.
You guys speaking French? What's this wee shit?
Oh, dude. There goes Deuce.
Oh, wee.
A Floridian tells police his dog shot his girlfriend. When police asked the man how his girlfriend got shot in the leg, he blamed the dog. Jacksonville, Florida police responded to a 911 call about a shooting Tuesday night, met with Brian Murphy, who told them that his dog Diesel had accidentally shot his girlfriend while she was in bed, according to Jacksonville WJAX-TV. Murphy told officers that he and his girlfriend, Summer Miracle, is that her name? Summer Miracle, were sleeping when Diesel woke them up wanting to go outside. When Diesel and Murphy went back to the house, the dog led the way into the bedroom, he said, according to the First Coast News. Murphy reportedly said that he saw a flash, heard a bang, and told the police he thinks Diesel jumped up on the nightstand, causing the gun to fire. The bullet from Murphy's gun hit Miracle in the leg. Miracle!
Miracle.
That's a miracle. Murphy told the police that he covered the Miracle's wound with a towel and called 911. Miracle was not sure how she was shot, according to the West Palm Post. She told police she was asleep, then a bullet struck her. Miracle was treated at the hospital for injuries and appeared not to be life-threatening. There was no word on whether charges will be filed. On who? The dog?
I wonder what kind of gun that was. Was it a revolver? He had it like the hammer cocked back?
I don't know. How does the dog shoot the girlfriend?
Yeah, that's like a really faulty firearm.
Unless this guy got it rigged like on Mad Max when he has his dog rigged up to...
The dingo? Yeah. And that's like really weird. It's just jumping up on the dresser or whatever where the gun was and it went off. So he had to have that hammer back.
Yeah. and the safety off.
Well, if it's a revolver, there is no safety.
There's no safety on a revolver?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called don't touch the trigger. That's the safety.
It says don't pull the hammer back.
What about police revolvers? Don't they have a safety? No?
Years ago, there was a manufacturer that made them, but generally the way that you're supposed to safely carry a revolver is to hammer down on an empty cylinder. So even though it'll hold 6,
You only put in 5.
you only put in 5, and you have the hammer resting in an empty cylinder, empty chamber of the cylinder. And then when you cock it back, then it rotates the cylinder, and you're good to go. So that's the only way I can think of. Now, if it was maybe it was a Glock, because those things are
touchy.
well, the safety's built into the safety, but still, it's just like, I don't know, it just raises too many questions.
So do you think the dog could actually shoot?
Not based on what where the dog just jumped on the dresser or whatever, where the gun was, and it went off.
So the guy...
I got guns, and they just don't go off. You know, they just don't spontaneously just, you know.
So maybe the guy took the dog out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he comes back in. He's tired. And he realizes the gun's still in the bureau. So he goes, picks the gun up, and wants to put it inside the dresser drawer or something like that. Next thing you know,
yeah,
she screams.
The dog can't deny it.
Dog can't say anything. Dog can't say it wasn't me. Did you do that?
They had no dog translator that day.
Diesel, did you shoot Miracle? I'm out. I don't.
Diesel, did you shoot? Here comes Diesel with the Apache helicopter. That's enough of that. That's just like, they're going to have to investigate. I'm sure they're going to like figure out from the angle if they investigate this.
Right.
You know, that just doesn't sound like any firearm that I know.
Is there a paw print on the trigger?
That has to be an extremely faulty.
Hey, you know what?
Firearm.
If we ever decide to change the name of this podcast from Brand X, we could always go paw print on the trigger.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure Daniel won't mind.
Yeah, toe on the trigger will love that. Oh, we're not toe on the trigger.
Hey, speaking of podcasts, did you listen to 3A's comedy? Jason was talking about going back to a flip phone.
When, today?
No, not today. It's last week's episode.
I didn't hear that part.
Oh, that one got by you. And I was like, yes, and where's John now on social media?
No, I did hear that. He said,
yes. I'm not the only one in that camp. You know,
I still call bullshit on all of it.
Yeah, I would gladly go back.
A lot of people are going back. In fact, there's I forget what phone company. They just re-released a model from the early 2000s.
Yeah, it's called AARP. It's all the old folks. They don't know how to work the new phones anyhow. Right. So now they're going back to the flip phone.
You're old enough to join.
Yeah, you're right. You're damn straight I am.
You're one of the old folks.
Yeah, I am. Hey, I was watching the Daytona 500, and one of the commercials is Jeff Gordon, who was like 16 years old when I was 21.
He retired.
Yeah, he retired,
about 3 or 4 years ago.
And now he's doing commercials for AARP. I feel like I'm so old. I can't believe this is going on. And the commercials what they're doing is it's called, they're getting food. They're collecting food to feed the old people. So they don't have to eat like dog food or they can't, feed themselves enough. Now they have packages where they send packages out to old people so they can eat.
Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, but
does Jeff Gordon deliver it to you like in the Rainbow Warrior car that he used to
NASCAR
comes like rolling out number 24. He's like throwing MREs at you.
I'll tell you what, I watched I'm not really a big NASCAR fan. I haven't been a real NASCAR fan in years, but for some reason I did watch all 3 races this weekend. I guess because there was no football on, I'm bored. I want to watch something. I'll tell you what, the Daytona 500, and the reason it's so cool to watch is because what they call a super speedway, it's 2.5 miles around. They do is they put these restrictor plates, which restricts the air going into the carburetor, so they all about the same speed. There's no real one faster car than the other. So what happens?
Well, then who the hell wins?
The guy. I'll tell you what. Do you know who wins? The guy that didn't crash, because these guys go out there and they wad these cars up. It's unbelievable. The last lap of the truck race, which was Friday night, first of all, there was 2 big giant wrecks beforehand. So there's like maybe...
I saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. got in a little wreck.
He got in it on the 500. The first one in the truck race, The guy was like in third or fourth place. They hit him. He hit the wall. He flipped in midair, did like a 360 in midair, landed on the tires on top of another car or another truck, and then like slid into the infield. So then they had two big giant wrecks in the other series, which I think it's called the Xfinity series, which is like they're not as fast as the Cup cars are.
But they charge the hell out of you.
So then they go to the Daytona 500. So I put, because I have a lot of friends that still race. I said, I'm going to put the over-under of 14 cars finish the Daytona 500 because they've also made a lot of rules that if you crash and you go back, before you could crash, go back, tear off all the stuff, the broken stuff, put some straightened parts on it, and go out and run around the back of the pack. Well, they don't do that now. If you go off a pit road, you're done. You've got 5 minutes to get the car repaired and get back up to speed. If you can't do that, you're done. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these cars are, they can't continue the race. And I didn't like it at first. I didn't like the sound of it, but what they're doing is making it 3 stages of the race. So it's like the 2 shorter stages and a long stage, and you get points for each one. It was exciting. It was really exciting. I mean, there were, near the end, they all wanted these points, and they were racing for them. And it was, I'll tell you what, it was really, really good racing. It was probably the first time that I sat down and really enjoyed watching a race. But now, am I enjoying the crashing? Yeah, why not? And the thing about it too is the angles. You see, like, okay, there's a big giant crash. We're going to show you 27 angles.
Yeah, they got the GoPros everywhere. Yeah, every car has 2 or 3 cameras in each car.
They've got the overhead. They've got the blimp picture
helmet
of it.
cam.
It's amazing on what they, the way that they can do this. Then the other thing I was watching was, I guess it was a couple years ago. The number 3 car was driven by Dale Earnhardt. It was during the 4th of July race at Daytona. Austin Dillon is the driver now, getting ready to go to the checkered flag, and they all start crashing right there. Well, he did the same thing. He did a flip, hit the fence, tore like a big chunk of the fence down. I can't believe he didn't die.
You know why this all happened? Dale Earnhardt's ghost.
See? There you go.
Yeah.
It all comes back to ghosts.
There you go.
It's at Daytona.
Right. So the car just about stopped, tore down the fence, big giant fireball. The car's spinning on its roof and gets hit by another car while it's upside down. The guy walks away from it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they got so much protection in those things.
It is. It's amazing.
The cage they're in, the Hans system, like you said, where they bolt the helmet back and so they don't get the whiplash. And
I like those wind flaps the wind flaps would kick up if the car was sliding sideways and all that, and would keep the car from, flipping over.
That was because of Bobby Allison. He got into a wreck, almost the same exact spot.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it was at Talladega which was another big super speedway, or Daytona. He got airborne backwards and hit the fence. Almost went into the crowd. And they said, okay, that's enough of that. Mm-hmm. We're going to put these flaps on. So if it gets backwards, it can't get any air. It's going to, it'll plant these things. But, I mean, now that NASCAR's back, I mean, where else can you go and see a big giant, like 45 angles, 45 different views of a big giant 20-car crash, and everybody walks away?
And George Carlin said that. Where else am I going to see a 26-car collision and not be in the damn thing?
Right. And a car fire.
Well, Troy, that race a few years ago where the wheel got thrown into the crowd, and that took out about like 3 or 4 people. Well, I think about 15 got hurt, but 3 or 4 people got killed.
Yeah. Well,
a tire hurtling at you at a couple of 100 miles an hour.
It happens. I mean, even in the racing that we did, the dirt track racing and stuff like that, there would be stuff where the cars would crash and stuff would come into the stands. Matter of fact, the sprint cars were down in Florida too, because that's when all the racing starts in February in Florida. So they were down there, and a car flipped into the stands and hurt a couple people. But, I don't think anybody seriously. The accident I was talking about with Austin Dillon at the Daytona, when that car hits, you think that, oh my God, the people in the front row, it had to hurt a bunch of people. Yeah. One person got hurt. They had to take her out of there, and she caught a piece of steel in her tongue.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was it.
Damn.
Was her tongue out? She had Buchanan's walking around with her mouth open?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I think she started to see the crash and she went.
I would think that the front row would be the place to sit because you're behind the wall and you can sit the hell down real quick.
No.
Now, that wall is only.
Yeah, the further, if you're going to go to see a race, you want to get up as far as you can, up into that stand as far as you can. You don't want to sit down in front. No way.
I only saw one race, so.
Yeah.
Sit at home on the couch with a beer.
Yeah.
Refrigerator's right there.
I always
Bathroom's right over there.
Well, the thing is now everybody's...
Any sporting event, really, for me.
Well, they're talking about like the NFL's losing viewership, and now they're saying
the worst year forever.
And the NASCAR is losing viewership. And I think just because the fact is that there's so many other things to do. There's so many other things that are vying for people's attention.
Well, I think football is they're their own worst enemy. Besides Kaepernick, that had a little to do with it. But I think just the reffing is that just like so many rules now. It's just it's like
takes forever.
A game takes 3.5 to 4 hours now. Where with just the stupid penalties and they review and it just like.
Well, baseball's the same way. They're trying to make rules now. Now they want to make a rule where for intentional walk they used to have to throw 4 pitches.
Yeah, right. I don't like that.
You don't like the intentional walk. Or you don't like them throwing the 4 pitches.
No, I like them throwing the 4 pitches.
Oh, you want them to throw the 4 pitches?
Yeah, because what if the batter just said, for the fucking hell of it,
I'm
going to swing at these bastards?
I don't think you're allowed out of the batter's box. I don't think you can come across. I think
you can still swing now. Just swing and just, hey.
Well, the way it used to be, they could just throw 4 pitches in a row and you're on base.
Right.
They would throw them wide.
Right. Yeah, but now they just want to say, okay, we're going to intentionally walk you. We're not going to do that. We're not.
It's quicker. That's all.
It's quicker.
They're just trying to move the game along.
Right. Well, to be honest with you.
Now here's why I don't like that. Because you may have a runner on base, okay, on first base or maybe second. They might try to steal.
That's true, too.
Okay, so now you're removing that aspect out of the game, which is part of the strategy. See, a lot of people that, if they don't know baseball, a lot of people they'll say it's boring to watch.
Right.
Okay, it's a slower paced game. It's a game that doesn't televise well. As I guess is the best way to put it.
Same way with hockey.
Yeah. And auto racing, because they only have the camera on the front 8 cars.
That's true,
but you don't see what's going on in the back with people. But baseball really does not televise well. And there's a lot of science and there's a lot of strategy that goes on that you're not necessarily seeing. So I didn't read the rule, how they want to propose it. But if they're going to try to walk the batter and you have someone on first and second, on that 4th pitch, he could try and go to steal.
Yeah, or, the guy goes to throw it wide and really throws it wide.
Right. Suppose he loses the ball. I mean, that's happened.
Well, there's
now you got a runner advance into base.
But how many times is that? How many times?
It's still, though, it's an unnatural.
There was a game, and I remember it happened when I was a kid. I think it might have been Hank Aaron. They were trying to intentionally walk him, and the pitcher and the catcher kind of got complacent, and the ball kind of went a little too close to the batting area, and Hank Aaron hit it, and it went. They tried to walk him, and he put it out of the park.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just trying to move the game. I don't know if I don't like the designated. You
don't like the
designated hitter rule.
You want to see the pitcher hit. I agree with you there.
If you play the game, then you go to bat.
The only reason I say that is because that way that if you don't have the pitcher get up to bat, then he can throw at the other players, right, and not have to worry about stepping.
Well, most of the time when you see the fights in baseball, generally it's an American League team where you see that. It's especially with teams with big rivalries like the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees. You generally don't see that in a National League game.
I don't know.
Talking about inside baseball.
Right.
We went on a tangent here.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, but my father, Genghis, he was in favor of the rule. That rule's out well.
Which is, you're talking about?
They only put that rule in effect in I think in the 70 or 71. It wasn't that way.
Right. I remember when it came in.
Yeah. It's, vaguely I remember it. And they thought it was going to be great. It would be more exciting. But, it's ridiculous. It's a dumb rule. I mean, that's usually where washed up National Leaguers wind up in the American League as a hitter.
You figure Ryan Howard.
Greg Luzinski with he was a bad fielder anyway. A hell of a hitter.
Yeah. Sure.
But then when he got too old, I mean, it was just, all right, sit on that bench, and when we need you, you'll be the designated hitter, and that's, that's what it is. And, he could blast him out of the park,
Yeah. I just don't think, I don't know. With sports nowadays, what I'm worried about is everything's going to go to soccer, because soccer, they don't really get hurt in soccer.
You can't televise soccer.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Well, the game is played continuously.
Yeah. Right.
And
There's
on
no
American
way to
television,
play commercials.
You can't play.
That's
Yeah.
There is no commercial break.
It's one
in
of the
soccer.
reasons why everybody says, "How come soccer never takes off in America?" I said, "That's why, because you
can't advertise on it."
Well, what they do now, even with the Daytona 500, what they did was they would take the race and they'd put it up in the corner, and they would run a commercial.
Right. And you see it in the picture-in-picture.
Yeah, picture-in-picture.
Right.
So
like maybe they could do
kind of
that
like when OJ got, you know,
well, yeah, when
they put the
OJ was,
NBA championship, had to take
remember
the
that? We were at Kaminsky's,
when
when
that
that
happened.
happened.
That's right.
Yeah, once again, at Kaminsky's.
Kaminsky's.
Stealing shot glasses and beer mugs.
Yeah.
During the, matter of fact, we were at Kaminsky's when the first Gulf War, when they attacked the.
Yeah, that was around Sandy's birthday.
That's right.
Because Sandy and Don's birthday were like a day or two apart from each other.
And we went in there.
And we were in there and that broke out.
George Bush the first.
Making
he was in there talking. You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
Nobody was talking. Everybody was fixed on that TV set.
Yeah, the mother of all surrenders.
Right.
That's what that was.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to take. They're going to take, and it's going to take a long time. And they started surrendering like
immediately.
You know what was really crazy? That was like the first war, especially. I know when I was working, I would come home, grab dinner, sit down at TV, and you could watch it because
watch the war.
Yeah, it was just getting dark. They would wait till it would get dark, and then they would just start bombing, and you could just watch. You were sitting there watching the whole thing.
Did you make popcorn?
The better war was the second war that we just with Baghdad Bob. You know, you see bombs exploding, flames. Nothing to see here. It's like that Leslie Nielsen in Airplane or the Naked Gun rather is like nothing to see. Everything's and he would say no, everything's fine here, and bombs are exploding. You know, Baghdad Bob.
Well, the time that he's sitting there and they're saying, oh, that they're not the U.S. is not. The Allied forces are not in the city. Right. And all of a sudden you see tanks and things
rolling by.
Well, turn around. What's that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Baghdad Bob.
Not great, Bob.
But I think television ruins all sports in a sense. But that's the reason why we have so many teams now in all sports, hockey, football.
Well, okay.
We were talking about this before when the Flyers won the Stanley Cup in 74 and 75.
Mm-hmm.
That was all wrapped up by May.
Yes.
It was done.
Right.
Okay. Now basketball and hockey, the championship, the final game. I mean, if it goes to full run, 7 games, 5, whatever, it's like the 4th of July.
Yeah.
That was a winter sport.
Exactly.
They weren't supposed to be played then. It was just.
Well, to me, here's the other thing: you can't go to games anymore. Like if you want to go to, let's just say you're going to go to a Philadelphia, Eagles game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
it's $40 to park.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now
$5 for the bridge.
So it's $45. Now you got to buy the tickets. They're not cheap if you can get them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go in, anything you want. Beers are $8, $9.
Baseball's still cheap.
I don't know.
Baseball tickets are still pretty cheap.
But if you want to buy a beer or something.
But see, here's the thing with football. Baseball, they're going to play 81 games 81 games at home,
right,
and 81 games on the road. Football's the same thing, but it's only 16 games.
Right, so you're going to play 8
at home. 8 at home, so they're going to make their money there. They got that overhead. What I don't I'm not a fan, but hockey, they have a pretty long season, and those tickets are needlessly expensive because I think they play about 65 or 70 games at home. How many games in a hockey season?
I think there's only, I feel stupid now because I think there's only 80 games in hockey season.
Okay, well, they're still playing 40 at home.
Right.
You know, maybe it's basketball I'm thinking of because hockey has a lot of rest days in between games.
Yeah, I thought there was, again, I think they might be around the same time. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but it wasn't really planning on talking about this. But the thing about it is, with football, and now football starting, it only takes off a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Next week or so, the free agency thing starts, and then the combine. So now you go with everybody running around in their shorts. They go to the combine, then that all fires up, and they did it. Basically, the NFL keeps people on the hook all year round. Well, they're real fans.
They had to, The NFL they kind of went. They're kind of like doing what they do with the NBA. They try to sauce it up a little bit, make it a little dramatic. So you have all these little sideshows going on, and they try to make it like the World Wrestling Federation. They try to make it year-round where there's something going on, and you're just constantly watching and,
Yeah, basically boxing's dead now. Now they have the MMA.
MMA.
Here you go. Here's a great heap. Joe probably knows this answer because I used to win bets and drinks and bars with this. Out of the 4 major sports, hockey, basketball, baseball, and football, what 2 games out of the entire year, is there no game played?
Mother's Day?
No, baseball will play on Mother's Day.
I don't know that.
There could even be a hockey or a basketball game going on because it's in May and the playoffs could be going on.
I don't know. I don't know of a day.
February 29th?
Well, no, it'll be if there is a February 29th, but there's 2 days.
Yeah, right.
2 days out of the entire year that they don't play a game in the 4 major sports?
I know they play on Christmas, and the NBA plays Christmas.
I was going to say Labor Day, but
no. I know they play Labor Day.
Sometimes football will play on Labor Day for Monday Night Football if it's late enough.
Memorial Day?
No.
Yeah.
I'm thinking somewhere around now. Would it be like President's Day?
No, it could be a hockey game scheduled or basketball.
I don't know. You have to tell me. I have no idea.
The day before and the day after the baseball All-Star game because it's a travel day.
Oh, okay.
See,
I'm thinking of a holiday.
That's it. Well, that's
I'm
what
thinking
everyone
of fixed
does.
date. I was thinking of fixed date.
Right.
But they're the only. It used to be you used to just like tell that, but now there's so many sports. Like rolling golf. So you have to preface it by the 4 major sports.
The 4 major sports.
So
yeah, you're 4x4.
Try to stump me, huh?
No.
Now, what's all that about? I see this just like dangling there.
Well, I didn't get a chance today, but what I want to start doing is use your knowledge and either pin someone up against you or see if we can stump you. I haven't really figured it out. I call it Deucepedia.
What's the subject, though?
It could be anything. Random trivia knowledge.
Yeah, but some things don't.
So could we get other people, like other podcasts, to come in and take you on, almost like what Stern did with Fred, win Stern's money?
What do you mean, like email,
win
email
money?
questions in, or?
No, it would be a contest. We would pick maybe 5 or 10 questions, and then you would try to answer them, and the other person would try to answer them. Or,
but what if I suck at that subject?
Then you would lose.
Right.
So,
well, if it's like history or politics,
because they do that at work, they'll ask me a question. It'll be like on like rap music. I'm like, well, I lose because I know nothing about it. So that's
I understand it, but I'm just talking about like general trivia.
I'm pretty good with 70s television. I think you can
general trivia. If it's general trivia, I mean,
yeah,
I could do
something
that.
You might be able to, something you would play in if they still have the game Trivial Pursuit, something like that.
I forgot about that game.
And then what would they do is if somebody wanted to take you on from another podcast or maybe another listener or something like that.
Yeah, but see, that's hard to do because people got computers in front of them. It's too easy to get one.
You'd have to bring them in here.
Yeah, you'd have to have somebody.
So
like,
then the only
other way is if they submit questions.
They submit questions and then
that I don't see, and then you read them to me.
Read them to you and see if we get how many you could get right in 10 questions and how long it would take you to do the 10 questions.
So it wouldn't be like a question I answer, or
yeah, like in other words, I could ask you. We'll start the clock.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then I'll ask you a question, like one after another, and see if you can get it. You can pass, you can come back, and then what you do is how many you got right in a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Kind of like I said. And listen, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here.
What do I win?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, I try. I'm always good for a trivia game. I like trivia.
Yeah, something like that. Something to spice it up. Oh, I know what to tell you. So I was listening to Bold and Belligerent,
mm-hmm.
and
the Happy Meal Challenge.
The Happy Meal.
Oh,
Challenge.
I would throw up.
So I went to look at the Happy Meal Challenge, and they can eat a whole Happy Meal in
19 seconds or
19
something?
seconds or 18 seconds.
18 seconds,
18
I think
seconds.
it was, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's an amazing, and I'm talking to drink and everything.
What is that, a burger,
it's
fries?
A burger, a fry, a cheeseburger, fries, small fry.
And a piece of fruit now, I think,
no,
to healthy it up.
No, it was just...
Actually, that's technically possible, I think. What, are you talking about like a McDonald's Happy Meal?
I seen a kid
in 18
do it.
seconds? The drink and everything?
It was an Asian kid did it.
It's always an Asian kid.
But it took him 4 or 5 tries to do it.
Really?
And and it seems like he did
the hardest part about that would be the fries.
He grabbed those fries. He took the bag. He shook them in his hands. He took his bag like that, and he shoved them in his mouth. And he just like how they did the hot dogs. You know how they would do the hot dogs,
soak them and
right.
I would think you'd have to.
So I said to the guys from Bold and Belligerent, listen. I sent him a tweet. I said, I'm not going to go and try to do that in 18 seconds. But if you want to eat a Happy Meal and time yourself on how long does it take you to eat a Happy Meal, I'll go after your record.
Mm-hmm.
That I'll try.
Yeah, 18 seconds sounds like a really good way to choke to death.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, so I would think you have to grab the fries and just squash them in your hands and then just put it in like
that's what they did. I mean, it was like, it was like,
Christ, you got to have an EMT standing here just to...
I can't believe, I mean, I'll show it to you.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it because I checked it out after I listened to the podcast. I was like, whoa, there's no way I can do that.
There's no way I'm doing that.
I can eat in volume, but it's...
Yeah, you're more of a...
I can't do it in... I'm more of a marathon runner.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you're not like a speeder.
Yeah, you give me a couple pizzas and enough time, and I'll do it all off.
But I would do that. Like if Luke wants to sit down and see how long it takes to eat a Happy Meal,
mm-hmm.
I would try to beat his record.
Yeah, that's...
Or maybe I should get a Happy Meal and see how long it takes me to eat it, see if Luke can beat my record.
Okay. Yeah. you can
Maybe we'll do that.
Shots fired.
Next podcast, I'll go get a Happy Meal
Is there a McDonald's around here?
right up the street.
And there's 3 sizes of Big Macs now, right?
Yes, there is 3
Did you know
sizes.
that? I didn't know.
I heard they did something with the Big Mac. What did they do? They made it
There's 3 different sizes, and I'm not even sure what the sizes are. But I was trying to get back here because I had a client that I had to record a podcast for, and my daughters and my son was with me, and they're like, "Can we go to McDonald's?" I'm like, "I got up a little time." I looked in the drive-through; didn't look like there was only one car there, so I'm like, "Okay, I think I can get in there." So I pull up and I go to the drive-through, and I'm like, "Okay," and the lady's sitting there and she's looking, and then all of a sudden, I hear her go,
What's the difference between the 3 sizes of Big Mac?
and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" So then they're talking. She's like,
I don't know what I want.
and then finally I yell out the window.
For God's sakes, lady, go inside.
So
yeah, right.
People got shit to do.
yeah, I got to get back to the house.
I'll tell you what pissed me off. The guy who invented the slider. You know, that little,
Slider.
yeah,
That pisses you off?
oh, that pisses me
What's
off.
the slider?
It's a little tiny
It's a tiny
hamburger,
burger.
a little tiny cheeseburger.
Oh, that's like from White Castle.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why would you
okay.
invent something like that? That's like retarded. Why would to me, anybody who loves burgers is not going to eat a little tiny burger. Is that like one of those salad eating things? Like, I need
I'll
to
tell you-
drop
I'll
a
tell
few
you what the-
pounds. I gotta,
I'll tell you the
Well, the slider, from what I understand, that's from like the turn of the century where Americans didn't have an obesity problem and
I
didn't
guess.
gorge themselves. Because it wasn't until like the 60s where they started with, it's a quarter pound of beef. That was like,
Right.
ooh.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about
That's
it.
what it was all about.
Traditionally, and this is only my opinion, a burger is like something you sit down and enjoy now. You know what I mean? Like,
what they're saying about the whole premise behind the White Castle slider and everything is they have the flat burger with the 5 holes in it. They put the fried onions on it on that little tiny bun, and it's supposed to be the perfect 2-bite burger.
yeah. Well,
So-
now everybody has them.
So now, so now what happens is, they used to go, you buy a bag of them.
Yeah.
You would buy a bag of sliders. You buy 8, 10,
Well, yeah.
whatever.
Just to me, it sounds like somebody's just.
There aren't any White Castles then. They're still up in North Jersey and around
None
New
that
York.
I've seen around here.
Yeah, it was.
Isn't there one on the PA Turnpike? I seem to remember
There used to be one in Philadelphia, but that's gone now too.
Yeah, they all went
there's,
away.
Yeah, there's nothing around here, and then so we don't want to take the time to unwrap 10 burgers. We don't care.
Yeah.
We're going to go get like 1 or 2 burgers that are halfway decent size, so we don't want to have to spend the time to unwrap them. That's the problem.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I even had anything from McDonald's, let alone a Big Mac.
Yeah, well,
Because, like I said, they just open me up.
yeah, we've been through
Oh,
that. There's no sense in going through that again.
Revisit that.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I might do that. You want to do that next week?
Yeah.
We'll do
Pick up a slap Happy Meal.
We'll pick up a cheeseburger, the fries, and a soda.
I thought I remember somewhere where they were putting like a wedge of like an apple slice in it or something to make it healthy.
They might
Oh,
do
that'll
that.
fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's much better for you.
Oh, the apple slice.
And a Diet Coke.
Or
I don't know if that's included. I vaguely remember them saying something like that.
right.
Just something about fruit being in it. Like, oh, you know what it might be? You can opt for fruit instead of the fries.
That's
I think
it.
that's what it was.
Yeah, but
Again,
no,
who the hell would do that?
Who would make me? That wouldn't make me happy. I want the fries.
right, exactly. So to keep it, to keep it uniform,
Mhm.
then
Traditional Happy Meal.
Happy Meal would be the fry, small fry, the cheeseburger.
And the toy. You have to eat that.
No, I'm not eating the toy. You have to drink the soda.
How big is a soda?
It's a small one.
It's like 8 ounce, I guess.
Yeah, but then they put ice in it too.
No, you got to take the ice out.
Well,
Just
you don't
order
have
a
to.
soda with no ice.
That's a lot of soda. I'd rather order the soda with ice and then just drink it through a straw. Be faster.
Brain freeze.
See what happens.
Just press your tongue up against the roof of your mouth. That's how you do it.
You're going to look like Samuel L. Jackson in
All
Pulp
right.
Fiction drinking that Sprite.
It is a tasty burger. The Kahuna Burger. That's that Hawaiian.
That is one tasty burger.
You know why it's called the Royale with cheese?
because they're on
Because
the
of the
metric
metric system. Check out the big brain on Brad. I say that to Diane. She gets furious. She gets all, I hate when you do that.
You're a smart mother.
Hey, you're a smart mother. Check out the big brain on Diane. Stop it. I don't like that.
She doesn't like that. That
Well,
Those are
you're
crazy.
going to break her hump, you know.
Oh, I
so
got
it's
you.
just like I'm always breaking her hump.
Right.
So,
you better watch out. She might block you on Twitter.
Block and give you
yeah.
go on a
I should-
tirade to all her friends.
I should get so lucky.
I should be so lucky.
All right, let's wrap this up. So next week,
Submit your questions.
submit your questions for Deucepedia and see if anybody wants to take them on. And then I will try. And this is going to be my last eating stunt.
Famous last words.
If he can't beat me in this Happy Meal thing, then that's it. I'm done. And if he beats me, I think I'll try to do it one more time. And if I can't beat him, then he's the champion.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I've had enough.
The gauntlet's been thrown down.
Right. Although
it is fun to watch, you know.
Does it get a GoPro on him and, use a time lapse?
Well, we did it.
On 18 seconds.
We did it on Facebook Live.
With the cookies.
With the cookies.
Really?
Yes.
Did you GoPro it?
No, we used that one right there.
Yeah, just go on.
Camera right there. And then we did
but I want to see it in time lapse, though, eating all them cookies.
It was only a minute. How much? What do you want to say?
A minute. Yeah, he ate 10 cookies in a minute.
10 cookies in a minute.
You like him like this, and then
want to see it?
it's all done. It's all gone.
Yeah,
15 seconds.
You might want to slow it down. I could see slowing it down.
By 4.
Super slow motion.
Super slow motion.
Like a National Geographic.
Yeah, I don't think that'll work too well.
Yeah, it's not exactly riveting video.
Right. All right. So
shout outs.
We got to do shout outs. Forgot about that.
Got your back.
Right. Horribly Awkward Podcast. Bad Cop, Bad Cop.
3 is comedy.
3 is comedy. And they're doing a live show now.
Yeah.
On Friday.
Yeah, I missed it. It was when they rolled it out.
Well,
I heard it.
Here's the thing. Now they got their setup. We could do another 3 is Brand X if you want to do that, where we can actually sit down here and talk with them and not have, the
like the stupid dopey thing we had the last time.
I couldn't even enjoy that show.
That was tough to do with all the echo.
I can't even go back and listen to it. It just said aggravates me so bad.
All kinds of technical problems.
Yeah, it was horrible.
They could hear us clearly.
And we could hear them.
And we could hear them clearly. But
me and Deuce had a echo.
There's a really strong reverb.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah. So you had to and we were doing it remotely then. So John was here. I was at home. And
oh, right.
Yeah, you're watching the screen. Okay, his lips stop moving. I can respond.
Right.
So it was weird. Well, they do that on Friday, so we would have to do that on a Friday.
It was an echo, race fans.
Yeah, exactly. You could hear that.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrendous. Couldn't stand it.
It was a great show. It was just hard to get through for us to do because, and then there was 25 minutes of unplugging jacks and
So I think he's good to go. Mm-hmm. We could record on Cast.
Yeah. I was
do that
because I got in I heard the Friday morning podcast because I was able to do that at work.
Right.
And then between 10 o'clock and 2 or 3, I wasn't able. Yeah, I didn't get any alerts. So then when I got back outside, I was like, oh, what? There's a podcast here. So I just thought it had downloaded the same episode twice. Ooh, bonus episode. So I was I got to listen to that.
Yeah, so I just saw he was on Mixler. He just put on he was going on Mixler. So I said, okay, I'll go listen. So I listened and I was typing in the chat.
Yeah, I heard you.
It was,
I heard
them read.
Jason and Mindy
yes,
and Bob saying, John says,
which sometimes I feel like I shouldn't. You want to contribute, but you don't want them to feel obligated to say everything that you write down because some of it's, anyhow, I like I said, I'm looking forward to doing the live show.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun to hear. And it was great to have 2 episodes on one day.
There you go. Ice in the Face.
Seventh Heaven.
We did Bad Cop,
The
Bad
Unwritable Ramp with Juliet Miranda,
right.
who just interviewed Nick DiPaolo. So I listened to that yesterday.
Yeah, she does pretty good with the interviews. I wasn't really a big fan of her interviewing.
Not
because.
Well, you enjoy her.
Yeah, I enjoy her.
Mm-hmm.
I usually she has dopey guests.
Well, I don't know. They had Mike Rowe was on a couple of weeks ago.
That was a great. I enjoyed that episode.
Is this going to get you in trouble on Facebook?
Yes.
John and Trouble are old friends.
Yes.
On social media.
I want to see if we can get Juliet to come here. Juliet to come on here where we can have her on the show. I tried to get her to get on the Bad Cop show, and she put the stop to that immediately.
Yeah, well, duh.
They're all made up now. They are. I don't understand. Yeah, they're all made up now, so that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we talked about Ice in the Face.
Bold and Belligerent with the food challenge. Another food challenge between John and Luke. Sounds like a Bible passage in it, right. John and Luke.
Happy Meal 1-4.
Happy Meal challenge.
Right. I don't even know he'll go for it. He might not even go. He'll say, I ain't eating a Happy Meal because that dipshit ate a Happy Meal. Why do I have to do that? I don't know.
And then I can cheat. I could simultaneously eat 2 Happy Meals.
Yeah, you can stuff the fries and the burger in your mouth at the same time and disqualify. That's cheating.
Now I'm thinking about hitting Wendy's now.
Yeah, see? Right up the street. All right.
Shows what ails you.
I'm trying to think. We talk about the shows now. I don't have any other. I'm trying to think who else we didn't talk about.
Couple things.
Ice in the Face.
Bad Cop 3 is comedy.
All right.
Bald and Belligerent.
Right, we did all that. Okay.
We're forgetting Daniel Reppel, Towing the Trigger.
Yeah,
Cassie's last show was last week.
So I'm looking forward to see what's he going to do for a new co-host. I don't know. That's, like I said, it's tough.
He might not know at this point.
Like if you left here and I had to find another co-host.
Oh, yeah, that Jimmy would be sitting here in a country second. Be a new logo up, hastily made.
I'll tell you right now. Here's the thing with Jimmy. If the mic's not on and me and him are talking, it's hysterical. Mm-hmm. It would be the funniest. It would be hysterical. It'd be a funny show.
We'll get a real level of comfort here,
right? Yeah. The problem with him, as soon as you turn the mic on, he dummies up. He clams up. Yeah, he gets mic fright.
A little stage fright, huh?
Yeah.
Like Fat Albert when he turns into a block of ice. He'll freeze up.
So, what are we supposed to do here? And he says, here's the other thing Jimmy will do. He'll call you up and he'll say, did you see that thing that just happened? With the dam? What dam? Google it.
Damn.
Fucking tell me what it is.
You'll get 10,000 pictures of a dam.
Hoover, Beaver.
Right. Or he'll call me up and say something. They're doing I want you to Google something. Me? Why am I doing this? Why am I Googling it? Just tell me.
All obscure.
Yeah, now I'm in the guessing games with the Jimmy. Holy cow.
Who will win?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you left and I had to get another co-host, it would be a little tough. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if I could do it again. I'm not sure.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show was because of you. And then with you, now that you're coming around every time, this will be, hopefully this will start to take off. Now that I'm taking 2 hours of audio and
throwing it down to
one well-oiled 1 hour machine.
I'll try to come up with a new beating story every week.
Well, I think that would get old, but I'm just saying it's just like
decades of beating.
It never gets old getting the shit beat out of you by
nothing tops the Coppertone beating story.
I think that was definitely
clear. It started off with the top of the heap, so
now everything else.
Where do you go from there?
Right, you led with you didn't bury the lead.
Yeah,
so you came out with the lead. I'm looking forward to, like I say, I think what we should do is everybody should come with like 4 stories.
What? 4? It was 2 last time.
We might want to go where we could start with 2.
Well, John by himself came up with 72 stories.
Well, I didn't say anything there. I'm like, okay, I guess roll up my sleeves. I guess John's got to come up with all the content again. John's got to edit the show. John's got to come up with the content.
That's not true, because I waited on a Friday. I was like, I'll put this on there. And then I opened up the page. There was like 12 stories on there. So I texted you. I says, well, I can see that this is action-packed. So
I just put them up there because then what we'll do is we'll pick the best ones.
Whittle them down?
Yeah, we'll whittle them down.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you had up there also, as I told you, was what I came up with wasn't as good as what you had.
It really was. It's really
like a dog shooting a human. It's pretty hard to top that.
And then it was a pretty slow week. If we're not going to talk about politics, it's going to be a pretty. I mean, we could talk about the Oscars and the debacle that was last night.
Yeah, that was a train wreck.
What happened? I heard they announced the wrong movie.
They went Steve Harvey on it.
They went at the very end.
Steve Harvey loves the Oscars now.
Right.
He's off the hook now.
So they did that, and then. It was just basically a whole political.
Well, I said that. I posted that. I said, they're going to shove this.
Did they release the ratings?
I haven't heard yet.
I'm willing to bet it was pretty low.
I already heard it was pretty low. But people are sick of that shit.
Yeah, well, I'm just sick of the Oscars. Yeah. It's like they all.
It's a big back patent.
To be honest, I mean, I think the only award show that I would kind of take an interest in was the Grammys, only because I was into music.
Right, and even that isn't.
And I would only watch it if there was like an album that I really, really liked came out. Like George Harrison when he came out with the Cloud 9 album. I think he had a couple of nominations, and that Christ.
How long he's been dead for?
Well, he's been dead 15, 16 years now.
Right,
and 15 years. It was just 15 years, and that was like in 1986, 87, the Cloud 9 album came out. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I had met you yet.
I can't watch them. It's all about tossing your own salad. It really is. That's all they do. We're the one girl up there saying, "Oh, without us, without actors and actresses." Basically,
Meryl Streep.
Not her. It was some other one. She was going on about how we inspire.
Did you watch it?
No, not the Academy Awards. No, I'm talking about the last big award show the one where Meryl Streep got on there and did her.
Was that the Golden Globes?
Yeah. Right.
Because there's the Tony Awards, there's the Golden Globes, People's Choice Awards.
I don't know who the actress was, but she got up and she did this whole thing about how actors and actresses and all, and how they are so important to the world because we inspire all you rabble.
Peons.
Yeah. And basically, I don't think they figured it out that, about half the country, all these people that they hate that voted for Trump and all that, we watch movies too.
Right.
They didn't realize that.
Well, I mean, you're still going to go to the movies.
Well, yeah.
I don't give a shit what their politics is. I'll be honest with you. I don't care what they do.
Oh, I like the characters some of them play, but that doesn't mean I like them as people.
Well, no one likes to be lectured to.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On
both sides. Both sides.
That's it. Yeah, regardless of who's doing the lecturing, no one wants to be lectured to.
Nobody hears that shit.
That being said, I'm really, really disappointed that Donald Trump is not going to the Correspondents' dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to see that.
Yeah.
I figured that was going to be fun. There was going to be some real haymakers thrown.
Well, the thing is, it's actually probably for his own good. It's probably one of the first times I've seen him show his own better judgment and say, I'm not going to this.
See, yeah, I know you say that, and that's true. You're probably right, because why listen to me? I'm always getting blocked on social media. But see, what I would do, if I was Trump, I would go and get some, 4 or 5 of the best roast writers, and I would barbecue those guys. All of them, CNN, Bill Maher, Fox News, all of them. It would make a difference. I would bury every last one of them, and then just drop the mic and leave.
Right.
I mean, okay, you're going to go in there and you're going to take your lumps. Go ahead.
Bill Maher's fine. I'm kind of weird with Bill Maher because for most part he's an asshole, but then there's times where he makes perfect sense.
Well,
and you say
at least he'll listen to the other side.
Well, yeah. He will do that.
He'll listen to the other side.
What's his name? Milo on. And
yes.
everybody, if you bring him on, I'm not coming on the show. Don't come on. Show.
Well, and again, Milo, he had a bad week last week.
Yeah.
Because he lost his book deal.
Right.
Well, I think didn't he lose the book deal once that tape came out? Yeah.
So the tape came out where he was talking about boys and men and boys. What was it? He was doing a NAMBLA commercial.
Well, I don't know what the gist of it was, but it sounded like he was actually endorsing. But if you listen to him, he sounds like he's being disingenuous. So I don't know where he's coming from.
Well, see, the thing that everybody gets crazy about Milo. Here's the thing. That's what he feeds on. He wants you to be upset.
Yeah,
He'll pick on anybody. He'll pick on, he's gay. He picks on gays. So he picks on everybody. To be honest with you, he's kind of like a Howard Stern. And when I say that he would just say stuff to get a rise out of everybody and be noticed. All right. That's what he's doing. And I think what happened was he finally went too far.
Yeah.
Where everybody just said, okay, that's enough. But I think he's harmless. I mean, I think what happens is here's the problem. Nobody listens to anybody anymore.
No.
What we do is we listen to sound bites and we listen to what other people say.
Mm-hmm.
And then if other people say, okay, well, he's part of the alt-right. Well, first of all, the alt-right is for, the white, white supremacy, the white race and all that. And the thing that they don't like is homosexuals, Jews, or black people.
So
right.
they don't know how to put
he's a Jewish homosexual that only dates black men.
Yeah, so they don't know how to stick the label on him.
Right. So first of all, he's not going to be the poster child for the alt-right.
No.
But it doesn't matter. And the same reason I'm in trouble on social media is nobody listens anymore. The first thing they want to do is if they don't agree with you, then what they do is they label you and then they play the victim.
Oh, that's why some guy wanted to beat my dumb ass because I made a remark about there's no such thing as ghosts.
Exactly.
The thing with Trump skipping the press corps meeting, it's an annual tradition and everything. And the way that they're going to spin this, and they've already had, it's like that Trump's a big baby and he's chicken. And but the truth of the matter is most of the fault, it's not being reported that way, but the source that I have that I looked up here is, and I'll just break it down. Over the past few days, news organizations have begun to openly threaten to skip this year's annual bacchanal between politicians and the press. the White House Correspondents Association Center. CNN talked of pulling out. Vanity Fair won't be hosting its usual after party, and several other outlets were talking of canceling. So they were backing out, and then Trump just put the tweet out, said, hey, look, I'm not going, so everyone have a good time. So, but they're going to spin this as if Trump took his ball and bat and went home.
So there's no way.
So he can win.
If he goes, they don't go.
They don't go. But
and then if he doesn't go, then they can say
Right.
he wants that. And like I said, I say, hey, listen, I'm going and I'm ready. I'll take my wounds.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
he was on that, what's that, Lampeter, or that roast? Did you ever see that?
Oh, the Donald Trump roast?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's painful to watch.
I love roast. That's my favorite comedy is
Well,
roasts.
but they're not as good as they used to be with like Dean Martin. And
Oh,
everything.
they're better.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
because
concerned.
they can use the F word.
No.
Just-
No, they're better because they really go after him.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if I saw the last roast I watched was the roast of Rob Lowe.
Mhm.
And not only do they go after Rob Lowe, they go after each other.
Mhm.
And it's vicious and
Yeah.
it's funny as
I
hell.
heard about that, yeah. I heard the
It's
William
hysterical.
Shatner one was really good. You know, it was like,
The William Shatner one.
Oh, Gene Simmons was funny. And the funniest line in the Gene Simmons, I know you're not a Kiss fan or anything, but Gene Simmons, if you know anything about him, he's really into himself. So his son was on there and he says, and now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Gene Simmons' -- fan. And well, there he is, Gene Simmons. It was just funny as hell. You know, it's like,
the whole thing that they did with, they had the one with Rob Lowe. To me, I still watch it. I still go and watch, pieces of it because to me it's hysterical. I mean, they picked on everybody. And Ann Coulter got, everybody was upset
they
because
talked more about her than.
no, they didn't. Not really. Not proportionally.
No,
they
I
did
mean
not.
in the news.
Yeah,
The
they
way
did.
what I mean is the media reported that aspect more so than
Right.
Rob Lowe's
the
roast.
Right.
Right. And, but I mean, Jewel, they picked on her. God, they really picked on her. And what was the other girl's name? The blonde girl. She has a podcast. Nikki Glazer.
Okay.
And David Spade. They went after David Spade. The, what's his name? Peyton Manning was there.
Mhm.
So they went after Peyton Manning. He did a great job. I mean, it was just an excellent. And that's the kind of humor I love.
Now, you say you don't like uncomfortable humor by watching Borat, but that doesn't make you uncomfortable?
No, it doesn't make me cringe. Like
That's
to me, to me the funniest humor is when someone says something and you go, oh, and then you crack up. It's like it startles you and then you crack up. The other stuff that they do is like you're like, oh, it's embarrassing. You're like embarrassed for the person. That I can't handle.
But they're
I
not
can't
real
watch it.
people.
I understand that. I get, but see
But
the problem.
people that are getting roasted are real people. It's
Yeah,
like-
but to me, it's better. For me, I can't sit there and listen to somebody like if I'm getting embarrassed for them, and I know that's okay, it's a character, but still, I get into like when I watch a show, I get into the show, I buy into the whole thing. So if I'm sitting there watching it, I'm into it. If it's a character, I'm into it. And when they go and they do stupid shit or they do something that's embarrassing or makes me cringe, it's like, oh my God, it's not funny for me.
I'll tell you what was really good. Remember when I forgot his name. Seth when he hosted
Rogen?
Rogen when he hosted the Academy Awards.
Okay, I don't remember.
Or not Seth Rogen. What's his name? Family Guy producer.
Oh,
I forget his name. Shit.
McFarlane.
Dave McFarlane.
Yeah, McFarlane. He hosted when he hosted. He really tweaked their noses. They were pissed. You're never doing this again. I thought it was funny as hell.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was. I like when he did that whole "I saw your boobs" thing. Remember that?
Oh, that was.
And then he's like,
wait a minute. First, you're talking about the Academy Awards. You're talking about the Pamela Anderson roast.
No, I'm talking about when he hosted.
The Pamela Anderson roast is when he hosted that.
No, he did do the Academy Awards.
He hosted the Academy
But I don't
Awards.
know if he didn't. I remember.
I don't know what he did because I didn't watch
he
it.
did. I saw your boobs on the Academy Awards.
No, well, if he did, that's the second time he did it because.
Really? Okay, because I remember seeing it on that, and I remember they put the camera on some of these actresses he was naming, and you could see they were pissed. Which is weird to me because if that bothers you, why would you show your boobs? But that's my
because
opinion.
of art.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's my opinion.
I didn't show my boobs. My character showed her boobs.
Right.
They looked remarkably like my boobs.
Yeah. Right. It's only offensive if you objectify my boobs and not the characters.
Right.
Somehow it's okay.
My boobs are off limit, but the character boobs are fine.
Okay.
Billy Crystal used to do a good job.
Yeah, he was good.
It got to a point there no one else could do the Academy Awards but him. Like he did like 7 or 8 years in a row, and then he took a year off, and then they had to bring him back.
I thought Chris Rock did a good job last year.
Was it? Did he do it last year? I thought Ellen DeGeneres did it.
Maybe.
Sure.
I can't remember.
I mean, I lose track. I mean, I don't watch them, so it's like
Conan O'Brien did them. Well, you know what they do? Some of them do. I don't know which ones they do, but yeah, and I don't watch them that much. Here's the thing: I didn't have to watch the Academy Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that was worth watching this morning was on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
And I watched the first 15, 5 minutes of it, and I was done. I was all caught up.
Well, that's the other aspect of our society. You don't have to watch the whole thing anymore.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Everything's highlights, whether it's sports,
right?
Whether it's the awards or
if I went right now and typed in NASCAR Daytona, I could show you every wreck in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. You can show them the whole
Yeah, but some people like to watch and tweet at the same time too. That you have that going on,
right?
Daytona in 2.5 minutes.
I mean, and I'm talking about all 3 races, all the wrecks. Mm-hmm. The truck race, the Xfinity race, and now the monster,
the Tyrannosaurus Rex,
the Monster Energy drink is. It's no longer the Winston Cup. Then it was the Sprint Cup.
Right.
Now it's the Monster Energy drink, whatever series. I think it's
who buys who. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Oh, that was the longest goodbye.
Right.
45 minutes of goodbyes. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Have fun, everyone.
Later.
That's it? We're just getting into it.